Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Chapters, a podcast. I'm your host, the wonderful Rachel, of course. And I know this episode is gonna sound weird, but y'all, my mic is being so weird today. Like any other time it works and I have no problems, but today it wants to be weird, and I have this other mic and I don't like it. So today I'm literally recording on my phone, so if it sounds weird, just bear with me. I'm gonna try to fix my mic, but if it doesn't work, then I'm gonna buy another one. But yeah, I'm struggling. I was like, fuck it, because I've literally been going back and forth with my mic for the last 2 hours, and I took a break and I tried again and it's still not working. But I was like, fuck it, because I'm trying to push out more episodes. So I was like, this is just what I gotta work with. But anyways, before we get into today's episode, don't forget to like, comment, follow, subscribe, and share. I also want to note, since I am recording on my phone, it does not have like the noise block to where it blocks out most of my background noises. So if you hear Salem running around or my ice machine going off, just bear with me, because my mic is really fucking with me. But I'm like, I'm getting this episode done. Like it's happening. So, but anyways, before we get into today's episode, don't forget to like, comment, follow, subscribe, and share, y'all. It's really moving slow, and I'm really trying to push out more episodes, but like my algorithm is they fuck with me. Like they fuck with me. But we gonna get there. So I'm trying to get to at least 100 subscribers by November, or at least by my birthday. So hopefully we can get there. But anyway, so I was gonna do a story time today, but I kind of wanted to touch on mental health a little bit, and I do have a mental health episode out that I did last year. It did not get as much attention as I would have liked, and as much as my other episodes do, but it's okay, because I'm still going to talk about mental health. Mental health has become very, very important to me within the last 5 years. It's always been important to me, but it's been on the forefront of my brain for the last 5 years. And well, first of all, because I was dealing with depression on and off, and then I ended up losing my oldest sister, which I did talk about in my mental health episode. And then just going through different stuff, like, issues with my ex, and then family issues, and then, having a baby, and then going through postpartum depression, but not even knowing. And, I had postpartum depression, and then I was working graveyard at the time. But, I did not know that I had postpartum depression. Like, at the time, I'm just kind of thinking, like, I'm just overly depressed. Like, me having postpartum depression didn't really cross my mind until I actually got diagnosed with depression and anxiety. And so, speaking of my diagnosis, like, we'll get there. But, I didn't know I was dealing with postpartum depression until I got those other diagnoses. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, like, this is coming from me having postpartum depression. Because even when I look back and, Ryan was a few months old, like, it just was little shit that was irritating me, or I didn't want to deal. Like, I didn't want to be a parent, so there was just different things I didn't know that I was dealing with, struggling with mental health and with depression. But once I got diagnosed, I put my mental health on the forefront, and I started to just, prioritize everything about it. So, like I said, I started to prioritize everything, and mental health just became number one for me. Like, if it didn't align with my mental health, or I felt as if it wasn't making me happy, then I wasn't going for it. Like, I prioritized my mental health. And unfortunately, I did lose another one of my sisters, which literally, like, shifted my entire life. Like, it's what I want to talk about today. And not necessarily, like, her death or anything like that, but just to say, like, I feel like her death brought out more of a depression for me, because for one, it's unexpected. Like, death is unexpected. Like, of course, like, nobody, I mean, unless you're literally, like, you know, you're gonna die or whatever, but other than that, like, it's just unexpected. And so because of that, it literally shifted my entire mental state. Like, I have not been the same. For one, like, my anxiety has been through the fucking roof. And I don't know if I really touched too much on that on my last mental health episode, but my anxiety has been so bad. Like, it's gotten really bad, like, to the point where sometimes if I'm very anxious, I don't even want to do certain things by myself because of my anxiety. So, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm trying to So I spoke on this before. Like, of course, I'm doing therapy and, doing things to prioritize my mental health. But at the same time, and I really try to explain this to people who don't deal with depression, and just kind of don't understand it. Because a lot of the times people would just say, like, who don't deal with it, oh, like, just do something else to not make you sad, or, just different stuff, or just to say stuff like, oh, shake it off, or whatever. And it's like, I just want to say, like, depression does not wear off that easy. Like, of course we want to shake it off and do other stuff and not be fucking depressed, but depression comes in waves, and it's literally like the rain. Like, it's not stopping until it's ready to stop. Like, of course there are things you can do to maintain it and try to control it, but for the most part, I really feel like it's something that is going to show up and it's going to be there. I mean, until you start to, do different things to change it, I'll say. Because, for example, like, I've been taking medicine for the last 2-3 years for my anxiety and my depression. And last year I was at a point where I was like, I don't want to live on medication. Like, I don't want to, like, I just was in denial. How the fuck? I was in denial about having anxiety and depression. Like, I just kept saying, like, no, like, I'm dealing with grief, and, like, that's just not what it is. But in reality, like, I was anxious and depressed as fuck. And it's like the fact that I was, like, putting it off and not taking my medication like I should have been, and not doing my therapy appointments, not journaling, not doing stuff, because I was just so in denial about having a mental illness or a mental issue that I didn't want to help myself. And I just want to say, like, if you are dealing with depression and things like that, I'm not saying that medicine is the answer to all mental problems, but even outside of medicine, I just want to say some medicine does work. If you do, like, if you were recommended to take medicine, don't, like, stray away from it, because you just never know. Like, I would say give it a chance, because you just never know. And also, like I said, there's other ways. Like, you can do therapy or being active. Like, I learned that being active is also one of the main things that a lot of people do to help with mental health, and that does really help a lot. So being active helps. But I'm just saying this to say, like, don't ignore your mental health. Like, there are signs, and take those signs and prioritize your mental health. Get help. Like, don't let nobody else make you feel like taking care of your mental health or getting help for anything is a problem, because it's not. There's nothing wrong with talking to somebody. There's nothing wrong with any of it. Like, reach out and get the help. Like, it's worth it. But anyways, so y'all, like, oh my God, like I said, I've been going through it, and honestly, like, this is another reason, like, I even wanted to bring this up, because I do want to start doing videos for my podcast soon. But I, like, my living situation is just not what it needs to be, and also my living situation is hindering the way that I already feel mentally. Like, it's literally eating at my mental health. Like, it's become so overwhelming that, it's a lot. And I don't want to get too much into it because I literally said this morning that I was going to give it to God and let him worry about it. And that means that I won't stress about it and, whine or anything, because I want him to handle it for me. Because it's just gotten so bad where it's like it was just taking over my everyday life. And, obviously I'm still in the same situation, obviously. But, like I said, I'm at the point where I just gave it to God and I'm just going to let him handle it, because I know at the end of the day that, he will fix my problems and, not necessarily fix my problems, but he will, he will just help me. And honestly, because I'm so lost and in need of so much guidance, I'm just I'm going to let him do what it is that, I'm just going to follow in his footsteps and let him take the lead, because y'all, I've really been stressed out and struggling so bad mentally. And it's like, if you're not in a peaceful place and you don't live in a peaceful place, it will fuck up everything for you. It just, literally somewhere, home is supposed to be safe space and just home, but at this point, home for me is I live in constant fight or flight mode when I'm at home. My anxiety is always on a 10. I'm always worried about something, even if it's nothing. It's just, I'm always on high alert when I'm here. And it's just something that I've really been struggling with for the past few months. So I've been trying to work on that and better my situation, but at the same time it's hard. And I'm doing my best, but like I said, it's hard to just up and leave. I'm working on it, but it's a tough situation. But that's a huge reason why I have not been able to do video for you guys. I really do want to do video, and it's really coming soon, because I have a whole setup idea in mind. I have a few ideas actually, but it's just a waiting process, because like I said, I have to get a few things in order. And first of all, I really just have to get out of here. So that's something that I'm working on also. So I'm trying to get as much episodes out for you guys, because I will be busy this month of October. So I'm trying to, push as much episodes out for you guys as I can. It's just with everything I have going on, it's a lot. It's a lot. And the only reason I'm even telling y'all is because, of course, this is, my unfiltered podcast, and I want to be able to, let y'all in on what I'm actually dealing with. And I don't want to be fake about it, but because it's I really have been struggling so bad mentally, and I have not been okay. So it's just and that's another reason why I even kind of was in limbo with the podcast last year, and kind of why I put it on the back burner, because my main focus last year was to get out of here, and that did not happen. And so, I've had so much going on, and so I'm at the point where I am leaving within the next month or so. So I'm working on that. I said, I'm in school, and I'm still trying to work on the podcast. So I do have quite a bit going on, but I'm just literally just trying to take shit a day at a time, and just work on myself. Also, I did want to note, going back to the mental health, one thing that really just grinds my fucking gears about people, and I also learned this in therapy, and also this year, I think this happened on Love and Hip Hop too, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, I feel when somebody is venting to you and, not asking for advice, not trying to have a conversation, but venting, and that just means, if you don't know what venting means, shit, fuck, look it up. But if somebody is venting to you and not here to have open conversation, meaning they're not asking for a specific opinion, or so say the conversation is oh, can I vent? And then, okay, I just want to let off stuff. I don't want to hear your fucking opinion. And then maybe when I get to the end, I say, what would you do, or how do you feel? That's when you put input. But I feel when somebody is venting, let them vent. I hate people who you tell them something and you're going through something. And, for example, I'm just going to give y'all what I'm speaking about. So like I said, I've been going through some stuff, and I try, because of course I have my own therapist, and I usually go to her for my problems because, even like trying to talk to my friend and my siblings or my mom and stuff like that, it's fine. But at the end of the day, like, I've become so accustomed to therapy that, you know, and not even just because I've become accustomed to therapy, but because this shit happens is why it's like, fuck it, I'll just talk to my therapist because this kind of shit happens. But sometimes I will still go, oh, let me lean on family or friends because, you know, like I'm looking for a certain situation out of it, or I'm looking for their advice, or just anything that I feel like my therapist may not be able to give me. I reach out, right? But it won't happen again, and this is why. So obviously, like I told y'all, like I'm dealing with mental stuff and just going through a lot or whatever. And so I'm trying to maneuver. I'm literally in process of packing stuff and trying to find somewhere and just trying to get it together. But anyways, I reached out to a family member. I won't say who, when, where, why, or how. But anyways, I reached out to a family member and just like venting or whatever. And in response, and I learned this in therapy, but we'll get there. In response, what I got was a me too kind of thing. Kind of like, oh, you're not the only one dealing with this. And, I'm dealing with this. And, just kind of like making it about them. And that's why I say, like, I learned that in therapy. Like, when you're listening to somebody and somebody wants to talk to you about something, like, don't try to, don't try to, like, kind of, like, steal the show, but not even like that, but more so of, like, I don't know how you feel, but I could understand, even stuff like that, without, like, oh, so say, for example, if it's like, oh, like, hey, girl, like, I just want to vent, I need to pay my rent, I ain't really making that much. And then, they go like, oh, I used to struggle too. Like, I didn't make my rent either. Like, time just be hard. Bitch, did I ask you all that? Like, did I ask you, have you gone through the same thing as me, or am I just venting to you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like, there's a difference. Like, if I want your opinion, I'm going to state that, right? And I'm going to say, have you ever been through this? Or, like, if I'm just venting, literally just be compassionate and be understanding. Don't even try to put yourself in my shoes. Not at that moment. Like, I just feel like being understanding and being compassionate is what's important, because it's like, if I came to you for a conversation or wanted to know how you felt about the situation, I would have asked you. But instead I said, if I could vent, that means just giving you how I'm feeling without any back and forth, because that's not what I'm here for, right? So, and that's why I just say, like, that happens a lot with my family, and that's the main reason why. Not even just family, but a lot of people in general. And I'm not here to say, like, of course, we're all dealing with shit. Like, we literally just went through a pandemic. Like, I understand that. Like, the world is entirely fucked up. Not to mention, we have a psychopath as a president. So we're literally all going through something. And I understand that. But I'm just like, in my time, like, if I'm just venting to you, on a regular, I'm not expecting you to hit me back with, oh, you're not the only one. Like, because of course I'm well aware of that. Like, I'm well aware of that. Like, I literally just did a speech on my communications class, and the numbers for mental health and the suffering and suicides and all this shit is extremely high. Like, suicide is the number one cause of death in teenagers and young adults. Like, literally, I'm aware that people struggle with mental health. Like, that's not something that I'm, like, throwing away. But at this point in time, when I'm venting to you or trying to talk to you, I'm not asking you, oh, like, that's just not the time and place. And I really feel like that's something that a lot of people need to work on, is to have empathy and compassion for other people, and learning to just shut the fuck up sometimes and letting people get off the way that they feel, because that, I feel like that's why a lot of people, like, You're like, oh, you could have told me, you could have talked to me. No, I couldn't have, because you didn't make me feel like I had an open space to have a conversation with you. Like, you make this about you. Like, I'm supposed to be here, like, I'm hurting, I want to vent, I'm trying to get my situation off, and you done made it about you. And that's not the reason why I didn't had a fucking podcast and why I decided to do my shit by myself, because, like, I could be venting like I'm doing right now, and I feel like the next person trying to make it about them. And it's like, that's not how that works. Like, I need to be able to express myself wholly without me feeling like I'm like, how did this become about you? Like, there's no way that I'm literally feeling some kind of way and now it's about you. And like I said, I'm not, like, not acknowledging that people outside of me are dealing with mental health. I'm very fucking aware. And the entire world has a mental issue, if you ask me. A lot of people are dealing with them. Everybody fucked up. So, and a lot of people fucked up and don't admit it. Shit. But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if I'm coming to you at a point in time and I want to vent, let me vent. Don't make this about you. Like, that whole thing is so annoying, and it really will make me not. Like, this is why, for the most part, I hold a lot of stuff in, or I talk shit about it on my podcast here and there, or I'll journal about it, or I won't talk about it, or if I do, I'll talk to my therapist about it, because literally, like, it's just, I don't know, like, it's just something that I can't do. But that's why also I push therapy out for people too, because talking to family and friends, like, sometimes you really just need somebody who's neutral in the entire situation, because they're not going to try to me to you. Like, like, they're going to listen to you, and it's just, no. Like, that's just, I don't know. Like, that, I really could go on and on about that shit, but honestly, I really feel like that's something that needs to be worked on with everybody. Like, we all need to, well, I can't even say we all, because since I've been in therapy, like, I have learned to let people have their moment. Like, I'm not going to say, like, say if you come to me saying, like, your head hurts or something, like, I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, mine was hurting last week, too. Like, I couldn't even sleep. Like, bitch, I didn't ask for all that. Like, like, like I said, I could go on and on about this shit, but I'm not. But anyway, that's just kind of like a little bit of what I've been dealing with, and hopefully soon, I'll be able to have video for you guys, because like I said, it's something I really want to do. I have so many visions and, like, setups that I want to do. So it's coming soon. I just really have to get out of where I am living right now, which I am working on. Hopefully I could do it for myself for my birthday. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm working on, like I said, I'm on God's time, and I'm letting him take control, because your girl is spiraling trying to figure it out. Like, it's a lot. And they don't tell you all this. Like, they don't, like, me being 15, said I wanted to be grown, fucking on. Like, I wish I was 15 and just chilling somewhere in school or something. Because being grown is hard. It's a lot. And it's a lot. It comes with a lot. But anyways, I just wanted to rant. I didn't want to, go on too much, but I kind of did want to give you guys a little bit of what I have been dealing with and why I haven't been as consistent as I should be. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. But anyways, I love you guys so much. Please don't forget to like. Oh my God, my voice is getting raspy. That's because I've been talking for almost 40 minutes straight. But anyways, don't forget to like, comment, follow, subscribe, and share. I'm still trying to get to 100 subscribers and followers before November. And if not, hopefully before my birthday. So I really feel like, y'all can do that for me. Like, just like, comment, subscribe, follow, and share. And we gonna get there. Okay, but anyways, I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.